Okay, so we have uh, Chris and Leslie, Rebecca, Tiffany, and probably we'll have some other folks roll in as we go. So we like to get started and just kind of roll real quick into our topic today. And now today is Magic School. So in the chat, can you let us know if you have heard of Magic School or used Magic School? I have some predictions. I'm guessing that is used it. We'd love to know, what have you used it for? I'm guessing maybe report card comments. Okay, so Tiff and Rebecca have played around or heard about it. Leslie and Chris, you can either tell us in the chat or come on Mike and tell us how you've used Magic School.
I've just been mainly playing around with it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've used it for some things. There's so many AIs, I just totally get confused of which AIs do which.
Right. So so actually this is a good place to even kind of just go into all of that. So I don't have a slide that tells us this. Let me just check. So Magic School is an educational tool. And so you've heard of ChatGPT, or Gemini is Google's product, or Copilot is Microsoft's product. And so those are kind of like the big, what we would call large language models. Now, my guess is that, can you give us either a thumbs up or a yes if you have, of all the tools, used ChatGPT most? Like, is that the one that you've tried or played with most? I'm guessing that for most of you, that would be a yes. Okay. Other than the grade 1 teacher, that's likely how that goes, right? So you've used ChatGPT. That's a large language model. And if we can, the better we get at prompting, we can get ChatGPT to do lots of things. Now, here's the thing. ChatGPT is like the Wild West. That is not an educational tool. It is taking our data. It is using whatever we put into it to train. And so ChatGPT would be an example of a tool. Suno would be another one. Leslie, I use Suno with Michelle Walline and Miss Brenneman for their TNT project. We made songs. Suno's a song generator. Tiffany, as the music teacher, you might have heard of Suno. Suno is another tool that's a great AI tool. Lots of teachers know about it, but that is one where students should not use it. So ChatGPT, Suno, to use those tools, generally you have to make an account and log in with an email. And so generally our stance right now in Prairie Rose is that any tool like that, where a student would have to log in with an email address, is one that we should not be using with students yet. Not likely safe. We don't have board approval. And so those tools, while it's absolutely fine to use those for your teacher tasks to do the things, we shouldn't be using those tools. We shouldn't be asking kids to log into those tools to create a song or to even do whatever it might be that they would do in ChatGPT. So on top of all of those are the tools that we've been using. We've talked about Project Read. We've talked about Diffit. We've talked about TeachAid, School AI. Those are educational tools built for the educational market, and they sit on top of ChatGPT mostly, or tools, those big large language models, and they're like a teacher funnel. Make it easy for teachers, fill in the blank, that kind of thing. So if we go into, I'm just going to click on Magic School here. And so you can see this is Magic School, and we can see all of the generators. So these are all built on ChatGPT. And so if you click on, I know one of the most ones that lots of our people have used in Prairie Rose, StudyBot, Proofreader. I might have it in my favorites. Where are my favorites? Oh, what's going on here? I know. Here, Magic School. IEP generator, or let's look at this one. Generate suggestions for a behavior intervention plan. So I click on this. I can tell what level I want. And let's say I want grade 5. And I could say the student, I'm not seeing your screen right now. What's this student like? What are some strengths and weaknesses? The student likes to kick classmates and teachers. Give me some other things, good and bad. He is argumentative.
Distracted, like distracts others.
Tries to distract others. No student that you've ever heard of is like this, of course.
No.
Distract others. One more kind of negative thing and then some positive things.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to distract others. He is frequently loses things.
Quick to anger.
Okay, thank you. Quick to anger. Okay, does he have some positive characteristics?
Say creative.
Oh, he's a creative, likes to draw, likes to tell jokes. Okay, so this is, I've put a grade in there. I've added a little thing. Now you'll notice that I have said the student. One of the things we want to be really careful with. Now, Magic School in Prairie Rose, we do not have a premium account. And so with tools like School AI, Magic School, where they have a big free part, but we don't have a premium account, those tools are built a little bit more safely for student protection. But the real safety comes when your school board pays for the premium product, which we don't have as a school board. So you'll notice here that I haven't put a name in, right? And I've just called them the student. We want to always be careful of protecting that. So I'm just going to hit generate. And so it gives me a description of his behavior. It kind of puts into words the things that I just wrote down not very well. Gives me a summary statement. And then it gives me some interventions and possible results. Okay, so nothing super surprising. Reward system. Why is it in past tense? Huh. Interventions used and their results. Huh. I've never seen it in, you see how it's kind of in past tense? The student, we did this. Anyways, social skills training, small group, feelings, resolve contracts, interact with peers. So if we do these things, this is what the result should be. And then there's some goals. Specific, they're usually like 80%. They're often kind of SMART goals. Student will reduce instances of physical aggression to no more than one occurrence per week over 8 weeks. So they're setting some goals, giving us language for what goals would sound like, and then some plans in different ways. So check-ins, and then some success criteria, how we'll measure, some follow-up activities. And so this isn't a bad starting spot. When I go down to the bottom, what additional let's just click this one. What additional strategies? And so now we're starting to get really specific. Visual supports, choice making opportunities. We often use that with our students. Let's give him a choice of 2 things. And sometimes that has a huge effect. Breaks, buddy system, emotional regulation strategies. I might ask for, if it doesn't prompt me, I'm going to say, can you give me some more emotional, what did they call it? Regulation strategies. So what you'll see here is I'm digging into the AI. I'm asking it for more, do better, give me some more examples. I don't like this, but I like this. Let's keep digging deeper. And so here's a nice list. There's 8 things, 9 things, 10 things, 11, 12. Okay. Of those 12 things, as a teacher, I should be able to find probably 3 or 4 that like, oh, I hadn't thought about. Like 7 of these are not going to work with this kid, but these ones are not bad. So this is an example of a time-saving teacher tool or a getting unstuck teacher tool that we see from MagicSchool. Okay, so then here I can edit if I want to. Now it also always gives me an exemplar. And so this would be an exemplar of what the output's going to be, or this would be like an exemplar of a prompt that I could give. There's mine again. And so that is the behavior intervention plan generator. I can share this. So I could copy the link and put that into the chat. Okay. I can't see the chat for the most part, by the way. I'm on a little screen. So if you have things to say while I'm typing, you got to spell them out for me. So there's MagicSchool. So that is the teacher side. Now, Chris says, try the rubric one. Absolutely. So let's go back.
Tammy, I'll
Yep.
fill you in anything in the chat.
Okay. I was hoping someone was going to do that. Thanks. Rubric generator. Okay. So you can get rubrics out of ChatGPT, but you have to work pretty hard at the prompt to do that. So let's say, Chris, what grade are you teaching? 8th grade. We want a 4-point scale. Language arts, persuasive writing. I'm pretty sure that MagicSchool has not added a, what's it called? Alberta curriculum links yet. I'm pretty sure MagicSchool has not. Assignment description.
Yeah, this was the one I actually kind of played around with a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, just.
So let's just click generate. We could give it more, right? If we wanted to tell the categories, but let's just see. Oh, right. Okay. Right. A persuasive essay about what might be one thing that's coming up in your world or somebody's world about why students should have to take an agricultural class. I don't know. There we go. Generate. So I haven't given it much. And let's take a general look at what it's giving us here.
Because I found that with rubrics with ChatGPT, like I can't copy the forms over, like the tables don't properly copy.
These tools are made to be used more so generally. So here we've got thesis, supporting evidence, persuasive techniques, organization, language and style mechanics. Those are absolutely legit categories. I might combine some of them. But then you can see masterfully, 2 techniques, 1 technique, lax techniques. So it doesn't do bad grid wise. I can come up here and I can edit it. I could, if I wanted to change this to a 5-point scale, which I typically don't use, but I'm going to do this anyways. I don't like a 5-point scale because that 3 is way too easy. Is there a regenerate button? Regenerate. There it is. So we started with 5. Now it's 4. Now it's giving us 5. So it's got the same categories left-hand side. It's just given us 5. So this might not be perfect. It likely isn't. However, for me as a teacher, I can go much more quickly starting from here and tweaking it to what I need, as opposed to looking at a blank page and making a rubric. So with lots of those tools, I see them as an assistant. Let's start here and then have it help us. Thoughts, ideas. As you see MagicSchool in action, what are you playing with right now in the background? What are you excited about? Let's turn our mics on and chat about that before we do the next thing.
Yeah, I think like you said, I'm just loving that it builds that foundation first and then you can work off that, right? It makes it go so much faster.
Right. And so, in Prairie Rose, I think hopefully you feel that as teachers, we've said, use these tools. As teachers, use them to save time. You must use the 80-20 rule, which says you can let that AI do lots of the work for you, But for example, if I took that rubric and just ran with it without even reading it, that would be on me. So we can never say, oh, I generated with that with AI. And so there was mistakes in there or something wasn't good, but it's not my fault. AI did it.
Mhm.
Hear me say that when we generate AI material, it is we are the boss of AI and we are also responsible. So it is super important for you as teachers to always double check anything that you're passing along that you've started with AI. And then more importantly, that's what we have to, like Tiff, you teach grade 6, Chris, you're in junior high. That's where we really as teachers need to start to move into that with our students. Now, we're going to look at Magic Student, which is a newer tool in Magic School. I want to give you an option to see how this works. If you're with us for School AI, they have a similar tool. I think School AI's is a little bit more powerful, but now in my Magic School, Kellyanne, can you say yes if you're seeing my Magic School screen again? We're good?
Yeah, yes, we
Okay.
see it.
So on the top right here, I'm gonna switch from Magic School to Magic Student. Ready? 1, 2, 3, magic. Boom, there it is. So now you'll see I have a purple background. And so over here, I have a bunch of tools that I can use for students. So what happens is I can create let's just do this together. On the left, I'm going to click Launch to Students. And over here, I'm going to click top right now, Launch New Room. And so it's going to bring me back into that original space eventually here. Next. So here's the tools. Here's all those tools again. So let's say that my students are writing a research report. And so I want them to have access. I'm going to add a research bot. I'm going to add a prompt assistant because it's not a bad idea for them to get better at that. And AI research bot. Oh, what I don't know, create an AI to use informed by your instructions. Okay, so this AI research bot would be one that I would further what's it called? I would further program the research bot. Down here is a research assistant. So if I add this research assistant, this is like just a pre-generated one. Whereas this one, it'll probably prompt me to do a little bit more. So when I launch this, you can see there's other parts here. Let's go. I'm going to add 5 questions. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this and we're going to join just so you can get a feel for what this looks like. So I'm going to launch this room. And then on your phone or in a new tab.
Tammy,
Yep.
you maybe just point out you just skipped the part of where you would program all those bots ahead of time.
Well, probably only the one would have been programmable, like just the AI bot. But yes, so in those bots, I can make it very, like if we're doing the boy in the striped pajamas or outer space, I can really fine tune it that way. Whereas the research assistant is a little bit more open, generic. I'm going to put this in the link. So this is the Magic School join link. You should be able to click on that. Or I'm going to put the QR code back up here. Close that. Oh. I'm going to put the join info back on. There we go. If you want to just scan that, that should get you in. And so this is what is happening here. Students are accessing through a join code. They do not give any student information. They're not going to add their their email. They are just simply joining with my join code.
So what are the limitations then on a non-subscription, non-paid subscription?
So one of the reasons that we are showing you Magic School AI and School AI is that they're fairly robust in the free part. There's fewer tools in the free version. There is limits in the student version. And so I am in a Plus account right now. but there would be some limits in the student account. And so those are some of them.
Give me half a second. I'll find the answer.
Okay.
I've got it. I just can't find it.
All right. So now you can see it's asking for a room or for our names. As a teacher, I would always ask for their real names because I will see what they do, right? So so now as a student, I could say 5 questions. Get AI to ask 5 questions. Ask me 5 questions. I need to do a report on Mars. Okay, so this is the teacher. I have allowed them to use this. I want them to use this tool because I think that if I give them this tool, we might be able to get to better places faster. All right, so we're practicing this tool. We're trying it out. Any of these tools, you should always try them out as yourself. Okay, so I'm in 8th grade. Here's 5 thought-provoking questions. I'm assuming you're doing your own, that you're choosing one of those bots, one of those tools, and poking it as a student.
I haven't got a good answer for you, Chris, because their site's not updated. It just says there will be some limitations after July 1st, 2024.
Yeah, so kind of.
So I imagine it's probably the number of spaces that you can have running at a time.
Yes, thanks, Kellyanne. So sometimes it's the number of items that you can launch in a day or the number of students. Now, typically in Prairie Rose, we don't have huge class sizes. If you're grade 6 below and you just have a single class, you could have them join in a day. Lots of times it's like a 75. I think that's what Magic Schools was. It was like a 75 person limit per day. So if I launched this to 7, like if I had 3 blocks of students with 25 each, I might be okay. But mostly in Prairie Rose, we don't have that many students. And so we're generally okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I noticed ChatGPT now is limiting certain things too, like how many times you attach something for it to look at. And
yes, in the free version for sure.
Yeah.
And again, and so ChatGPT, because it's such a non-school tool, it has no safety and no privacy considerations whatsoever. So Magic School, this research assistant, these tools would be ones that you would want to try out, play with, and practice how they work. And then if you want students to use AI, this is a safe way to do that. Not just say, go wild on ChatGPT and try it out or try this. So we want to.
Well, Cami, why don't you show the teacher dashboard?
Okay.
And that's one of the things to really
thank you.
Point out as a difference between, say, the Wild West of ChatGPT with students and, say, Magic School student space and School AI. The teacher dashboard is.
Cami and Tiffany, you've already seen when Cami was typing. So here, if I look at this one, output for Tiff. Tiff, is it true that you haven't? Ask me any questions. Put my thinking about space technology. So there we were. Now that one is kind of is like, okay, there's those 5 questions. It doesn't lead us on very well. So I used that one today. I'm like, I don't know. This isn't the way. This doesn't work right with kids. So I either need to train it more or ask those, like I need to give those questions to kids. I didn't love what this one did. So let's see over here. If I click on active, so I can see that she's active. Oh, she's got another question in there. Nick Spell's going. So I'm going to go back to Tiff. Thank you, Tiff, for letting us use you. Something about space junk. Okay, so here's the next one. How can we collect space trash? Can we recycle it? All right, and so it's got a whole bunch of ideas. Now, a student might have thought of some of these, but probably not. Like magnetic devices, laser systems, tethering technology. What if we could get our kids to this place where they have these ideas that they would take 2 classes to think about, and then we launch them and we say, okay, ask for, you're going to go in, you're going to talk to the, I like to call, instead of a chat bot, I like to call it a thought partner. You're going to talk with this AI thought partner, and then when the timer goes, you're going to write down the 3 best ideas that you'd like to investigate further, right? So AI isn't writing anything for us. AI isn't necessarily telling us any answers, but it's giving us this wealth of information of all sorts of things that I hadn't talked about. Now, a lot of you are saying my grade 7s would never read that. Most of them have a read aloud button at the bottom. Can you hear her?
No.
Okay. She's got a she's got a nice voice. She does not sound too mechanical. And of course, if I want to go faster, I can make it go faster or slower there. So even if this is a lot of writing and you're like, my kids would never read that. You can listen, you can have them listen to it. You can put it on 1.5 speed if they can handle that. That's kind of what I do, but that won't be for everybody. But this is now a really good starting spot for that kid who spent all class getting nowhere, right? So I think that this is just a tiny little sliver of a way that we can start to use AI as a thought partner, instead of, I don't know what to do or I'm stuck. AI can help be the unstucker. And that is just one way of many different uses that we could use this for.
Well, Cami, I was going to say that about the 5 questions one. That needed a little coaching probably depending on the age group, but I just wrote the word sewing. And
Yeah.
I actually really liked the 5 questions that it gave to me as an adult creative person. So it would definitely cause conversation in a classroom, but it probably needs to be coached a little bit or maybe
Yeah. So
prompted a
when
bit
I
to be
look at
grade level.
when I look at those questions, I'm like, it's like, oh, those are good questions for me as a teacher. It's like I just am not sure the use of this, right? Like, do I tell my kids it's going to give you 5 questions, you pick one, and then you keep asking about it? Like, there's not even a kind of a place to, like, what's next, right? So we would need to give good scaffolding with that. So that brings me back to my point. I had not used this one. I just kind of threw it up in there and then I checked it out. So we need to be confident of what the AI is going to give us. Most of these have an opportunity to go in as a sample student, right? I go as a student and then I test it and see, what does this do? Does this do what I want? If not, can I make it do what I want? And if not, I should pick a different thing and try again. Sewing, good one. All right. So we've looked at the wealth of different magic tools that exist just as teacher tools. These are built on top of ChatGPT as a large language model, and they have special programming in the background for teachers to get to what they want more quickly. We still need to be careful about the student data that we're putting in. We should avoid things like last names, any kind of medical reference, anything really specific. You might, even if you're using it for like report card comments or that kind of thing, you should probably go student 1, student 2, student 3. We just really want to protect privacy. And then we looked at Magic Student. And if your students are probably grade 4 and above, you could absolutely start to use these. I would probably, for the first time, absolutely just use one and use it really specifically in a tiny little way. What about a thank you note? Okay, wouldn't that be a great place to start with young kids? Help them write a thank you note. We see study habits, right? So I might want to check out, what does this do if I give this to my kids on study habits? Would that be helpful in my class? Should we do this space before our next test so that they have a little chat with a thought partner about study habits, right? So with all of these, super important that we part of our 80-20 is testing them out and not just launching them. Okay, so we are at time. Last questions, comments, ahas. I'd love to see in the chat, what is one way that you could conceivably use this for your own use or for maybe even with your students? That's your exit ticket. Hi, Teague. That's your exit ticket. Okay. Oh, Tiff's out. That's okay. We're going to wait for a few people to put their response in as an exit ticket. And then I would love to know if you try Magic School, whether it's for your own use or for students. Kellyanne, and I love it when you say, hey, I tried this. It really worked well. Or this didn't work. Can you help me make it better? Because that's what we do. We help out with AI tools. We help you get it right. We spend lots of time, working and pushing these and becoming familiar with use for our own purposes. And so part of our role is to help pass that on to help you use it more effectively. All right, we're going to stop the recording here. And we would like to thank you all for joining us.